Good day and welcome back to my channel. So I have another unboxing for you here today. This is a gift I've gotten from a wonderful lady, and it's, y'all can read. It is the Tamiya 1/32 scale Grumman F-14A Tomcat, the Black Knights. I did do a look to see if there was an unboxing of this kit before I went to get it, and I didn't see one. So yeah, I'll go ahead and give folks that look here my impression of the F-14 model kit here. Many years ago, I remember doing a kit like this. I don't know that it was this one, being that it was in the 80s. However, I really liked it, and I had no idea what I was doing as a model builder. Now that I've had some skills, I'd like to build this one up and put it next to my F-4. The F-14 is an aircraft that's one of my top 3 favorite. The other 2 being the F-4 and the A-10. So, but they really aren't here for my opinion on the aircraft so much as you are for a look inside the box. So, nice box art, and along the side you get the weapons layout for the Black Knights and for, I believe, the top headers. Yeah, the top headers, and their weapons layout there. And then the underside view and information in Japanese, which I can't translate, so I'm not going to bother. Again, 132 scale, and I guess the number is 4228610. Not really sure the year or whatever of this, because you guys are perfectly capable of looking on scale meets just like I am. So here's what's in the box. I'll open up the thing. We'll take a look at the plastic. Bag. So first thing that strikes me is the underside of the fuselage. It's honking big, so it goes together top to bottom. So we have a bunch of plastic bags. I like that they are mostly separately bagged. Oops, I apologize for bouncing. Sooner or later I'm going to use this new layout. And we'll set these things off to the side here for a moment before we go into the details and so forth. Fuselage for the cockpit split in half. That's kind of cool. Again, the top part of the fuselage there. Alright, and you get at least one figure standing there, so you get a ground crew guy. Didn't see a pilot, but I wasn't really looking either. So your tires are rubber, and you get some hardware to put things together. We'll take a look at the instructions here in a moment. And we have the decals. I'll go ahead and crack into those first, real quick. I will go ahead. We got the clear parts. We have what looks like a reinforcement part. So I'm going to pull these parts out. Pull this out. Let's take a look at the detail pieces here while we're at it. So this here is. So these are missile markings. There's a word for the markings on the aircraft and the missiles, and I can't remember for the life of me what they are, and I'm sure those of you who are watching this already know. Templates, that's not the right word, but you get it. So the decals for the cockpit are pretty cool. I'm kind of curious how they'll lay in, so we'll take a look at what the cockpit parts look like. May not need a resin upgrade. So here are the Kitty Hawk and the Enterprise, and I believe the Enterprise are the Black Knights, and the Kitty Hawk is the top hat, or the Kitty Hawk is the Black Knights, and the Enterprise is the top headers, if I recall correctly. These look to be Tamiya decals, but they look to be fairly well registered. So the NF, I'm seeing white between the N and the F there, so I'm wondering how that will lay down, but we'll find out. Overall, very nice. So interesting though, right? So the your marking, your anti-glare cover is a decal, not it's not a paint. So, and then you get these remove before flight stickers, which is kind of cool. So look at that, they're red, printed with this, so you can make all those. I don't recall having ever seen those before. So it'll save folks the grief of having to make those. Kind of nice. Now, Tamiya's reputation for model kits is pretty well earned. They're pretty solid. They go together well. They're well engineered, etc. So let's take a look at the instructions. Tamiya Tech Tips. Nothing specific to this kit, so how to do model kits. I would think that folks who are looking at this are fairly well aware of how that is. Important information. Important information. Important information concerning the kit. Read carefully. Okay, yeah. So let's take a look at the instructions. So this is, the instruction is a book, but I do like the front, right? So the front's kind of cool. Nice pictures. Bunch of language stuff. Tamiya color callouts. Much writing in many languages. So also you will need scissors, screwdriver, which is interesting because we will need screws. It gives you, these pieces tells you what you need to print out. One thing that's not on here that I have found from doing Zvezda and others is a sprue tree call out. Ah, there we go. So there's our parts. Part trees. There we go. There's the part trees. Like, darn, they were going to disappoint me greatly. These always make finding the parts better. All right, so let's take a look at the instructions. There's your back half of your engines. Looks like the details, the fan details are pretty nicely done. Look like the parts that go in to hold the wings together, the back half of the fuselage. These are your cockpit goes together, your cockpit tub goes together as normal. So you actually assemble the radar, which is interesting. So you could probably, I imagine, display this with the front nose swung open. Your landing gear bay, details there. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, folks, so pardon me. Apparently this is going to be a long video, so I apologize. Your swing arms going to be linked together. They all get screwed together, which is interesting. So these get screwed together. Go in there. Then you've got the gearing to make the things go. And then there's that metal piece that holds it. And I imagine also puts some weight to it as well as giving it some stability. Those are your glove vanes. Kind of interesting thing. So it looks like they swing out. That's interesting. So cool. Or it looks like they swing out. And then here's how you put together your intakes. Nice. B7 looks like you have an option. Select position. So you need to make some decision points. Your intakes for the engine. Your actual intakes going on the front. Some detail pieces here for your landing gear. Then your detail for the front and side landing gear. Well, again, your landing gear are actual rubber, which are cool from a perspective, but then if you want to do weighted gear, we'll add some minor challenges too. I like that your hubs are multiple, or some pretty nice multiple pieces. So you should be able to paint them up well. Then we go in, so we details on your munitions, the rails, and locating where they go. So you'll need to pay attention as you make the decision on what aircraft you're making as far as what bomb load or ordnance load they're going to take. I have an idea in my mind, which will be slightly different from what some of these are, but that's okay. So apparently there are pilots in here somewhere. You do have a ground crew guy. Get your tail hook up or down. And then your nozzles also open or closed. Overall, the instructions look pretty straightforward. Shocking as Tamiya. Oh, cool. So you actually have wheel chocks. All right, that's cool. Tells you how to clean up the canopy. You can position your canopy, open or close. You get the parts for. That's really cool. You get the actual wheel chocks. That's neat. And then where your markings go. Okay. And how to do the flags. That's really cool. And so that's the instructions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the parts. I don't know that I need to unbag these. Although I'm a little... Alright, I'm going to unbag it because I'm kind of curious about the detail on these. So, what I'm looking at, or what's making me do this, is the tailplane looks like just smooth. Right? There's a little bit of raised detail. Is that raised? Yeah, it's raised. Raised panel line there. So raised and recessed here. Detail on the... Okay, so the detail on the weapon rail is kind of nice. And there we go. Okay. Next piece. These are... Alright, so here are the landing bay detail, cockpit detail, and pilot detail, or ground crew detail. Well, there's pilot detail there too. So your landing bay, right? So there's your radar piece. So this is part of your wheel detail. Your resting hook, internal part to your wheel bay doors. So those are nice and sharp. And there is the figure. Tamiya figures have always been kind of meh, in my opinion, and this is no exception. The seam line on it is ugh. It's workable, but it's not like wow, right? More radar. There's some really super nice detail here. Why can't they get a figure? Sorry, whining. Not really whining, but expressing. Okay, not a bad piece. Here is your clear plastic, and that looks. I'm preferring not to take it out of the bag just because I'd like to keep it safe. It does have a seam right down the center, so that's going to need to be cleaned, I believe. So I will get to learn to do that, because I have not. There is not a seam. So there's not a seam down the front of the front window, just down the main canopy. Yeah, that's a... something I'm going to need to learn how to do. So if you have never done the sanding of a canopy before, with this one you will get to learn that skill. So this is something I will get to do. So here's the top of the fuselage. This is the bottom. This is gorgeous. So your detail, those are raised panel lines, which is interesting. So these are raised panel lines. These are recessed. So I suppose those are appropriate. I don't know. I will have some research ahead of me. There's some surface to these. There's some texture to these surface pieces, which is nice. Very crisp. Again, detail inside those doors as well. Shocking. Again, it's Tamiya, so we expect that kind of detail. One thing that strikes me is it's huge, right? So the kit itself is humongous. So these are your missiles. There's your pilot's head, pilot and Rio's head. I'm going to not open this because I've got some of these things off. There's the there's their mask hose. That's the word I'm looking for. Some very nice detail in there. Again, you expect good detail from Tamiya, and I'm not disappointed about that at all. Grab this piece here. So this is your cockpit part of the fuselage. Again, raised and lowered detail. Those will take a wash very well. I'm looking forward to doing that. This thing's huge. One big plane. Cover your canopy, your front nose cone, some very fine detail pieces, and there is your cockpit. So these here are smooth. You've got some sink marks right there at the flat surface, so you'll need to clean that up. Sink marks inside the... So, okay, that's sink marks inside the intake. Now, where they are, you're going to need to get up in there with a mirror. So, unless you're doing this... If you're doing this for a show where the judges do that, then you're going to want to do that. For those of us who are mortals and don't do models to that level where someone is looking inside every crevice and crease with a dental's mirror, I'm not going to worry about it. Very nice detail here for the engines. These are those engine pieces we were looking at earlier, both front and back. Padding for this, the way the seats are padded is nice. There's your ejection handles and your ejection handles for your seats. So the seats actually look like they're going to be pretty nice and nice, good detail there. These pieces are, so the sprue gates are a little big right there. So getting that off is going to be entertaining, but probably not something you can't do. The pilot details, there's another pilot head, interesting. So we have pilot heads on the other one, and you got pilot heads here. Wonder why. But the detail on the pilots are okay, right? You can see that. I'll go ahead and open this guy. We'll go ahead. We'll take a look at that one. This, by the way, there are two of the same piece right here because they're one side and the other, and then pilot and yada yada yada. Let's see if I can get this out without making too much of a mess. So here we go. So here we are, and we can actually look at the pilot there. So that's okay, right? That'll also take a wash if you want to put a person in. The detail on the ejection handles is really cool. So I don't know how much more detail you'll need to put on the actual ejection seat itself. I know that is one of the detail parts when you go order resin upgrades, that the ejection seats are meh, and you want to improve those. So this is the engine nozzles, both open and closed. So those will also look nice. There's your bombs, your bomb rails. And there's detail on the inside of the engines, or the nozzles, which is also nice. This is our structural piece. I'm not going to bother taking that out. And then our wings, the wings. Again, nice panel lines, nice and smooth. I haven't seen, ejector pin or sink marks anywhere on this that have made me concerned. So, but then again, I don't expect that from Tamiya. So, again, they're big, right? So these are 1 inch. So that piece, just this piece is 20 inches long. So your overall plane is going to be not small. And then this is our undercarriage, or underside of the plane. Yeah, so there's some pretty good detail in the engine bay. I imagine that there's a lot more you could put into it. So, Tamiya, right? Impression on this is cool. I'm fairly impressed with this. Well, okay, it's a Tamiya kit, so let's call a spade a spade. You expect detail, you expect crisp, you expect well done. I will find out how well it goes together. That'll be a project. This will be one of the Malice Project's pieces. So this is your radar piece, so it's well done. With that said, this is the nice thing about Tamiya, these guys, is that they go together well. You throw some glue in a box, shake the whole thing, and it falls together. The thing is, the detail's okay, right? So the surface detail's good. A lot of that's there, but there's a whole lot of things you can do to upgrade and really make it super sharp. So your engine details, the nozzles, and your cockpit. So looking at the cockpit, I was just looking at it. So your cockpit is just flat surfaces with stickers, right? So all you have are transfers on there. And if you're okay with that, and you saw what the transfers look like, if you're okay with that, then that'll look great. If you want that depth of detail that goes with the incredible detail that's in the F-14 cockpit, then, well, upgrade, my man, upgrade. And it looks like that is how this whole thing goes together. So the cockpit's nice, but meh. But the kit itself looks great. So it's a great start. It's a really nice start. So if any of you are looking at this kit for what, for one to build, this is what's in the box. It is a 1/32 scale. So at that size, I mean, we're talking, I did the F4. This is the comparable size, and that detail matters. So like you can see the cockpit there and what it looks like just in that picture. The plane itself is nice, so it's going to take a wash. It's going to dress up nice. We're talking about an aircraft which is clean-ish, but you have a lot to work with here. You have a real good kit. If you want to just build her straight out of the box, you're going to get a nice build. You will end up with a nice plane. If you want to improve it and take it to the next couple levels, you have the option and you have the capability to do so. There are resin kits out there. I've seen a cockpit upgrade, and I understand now why. It is likely I will do mine without pilots, but I don't know. The pilots are like, eh. So there we go. That is the unboxing of the Tamiya 60313, item 60313. So I was incorrect earlier, apologize. 1/32 scale Grumman F-14A Tomcat. And like I said, if you're interested in this kit and are curious what's in the box, there you go. Until next time, I will say thank you very much for watching. Hope this is informative, and happy modeling.